Very quickly, I want to acknowledge that a lot of these questions that are being asked are very focused on specifically just DEI, which I understand that is of very large importance. And I want to very clearly acknowledge that even though that, to be very honest, that what quote unquote DEI has meant at the University of Michigan and at universities nationally, DEI at this university has been performative. The Black student enrollment on this campus is still disgracefully low, lower than it was decades ago. Black students and other minority students on this campus are making demands and have been making demands identical to those of the original BAM strike in 1970. So DEI did not fundamentally shift any type of power dynamics. It simply gave the University of Michigan and other universities symbolic cover while continuing business as usual. But even though DEI programs have been largely symbolic, we do know that they have provided space, resources, and recognition, however limited, to marginalized communities. So the university dismantling DEI is a huge issue, and it's literally them backstepping on the minimal progress that we have made as a community on this campus. And want to acknowledge that the attacks on DEI in Michigan have been happening before Trump got into office. They have been happening over the past year and a half and since the inception of affirmative action. And it's all connected to the pro-Palestine activism that is happening on this campus and happening across the country. And if we cannot acknowledge that in this room, that the Board of Regents are moving, we have to acknowledge that the Board of Regents, elected officials who serve Michigan's communities, are acting beyond their mandate, which is just to be overseers of our endowment, which is invested in harmful and genocidal practices, collaborating with government forces, including the Attorney General, to arrest students, staff, faculty, and community members. And they're focused on the intent of dismantling higher education as a site of genuine critique and social change. The university doing and dismantling DEI and affirmative and academic freedom is more than capitulation. It's active collusion. We need to be very straight and honest with people here that we are at a time that we need to get up and fight and actually do action and stop painting the University of Michigan as being this beacon of light when it only changes because of interest convergence. It only does things because we make them do things. And it is the activism of students, staff, and faculty and the community that changes the university. And so I just want to keep that on the forefront of people's minds, that this is all tied to SAFE being suspended, that this is all tied to all staff and students and faculty that are fighting for liberation beyond this campus. And just be honest and straightforward. Black students are not getting more now than they got in 1970. And we're being very honest about that. And the university is using that as an excuse to say that it's not working. And I just want to acknowledge that and be very clear that there are people who are actually suffering who cannot be in this room. And I've been doing this work for the past year and a half. And it's very interesting that we're seeing more faculty show up and picket outside for federal funding cuts while their international graduate students are being disappeared and abducted on a daily basis.